You caught me organizing some of our library's books into their Dewey Decimal Places. I'm ready for a break. Let's read Rowan the Librarian. Rowan was a mighty barbarian, a leader of his people. He invaded, he raided. Back home, he traded. Rowan was legendary for finding the best pillage, gold, jewelry, weapons, and tools. Everyone wanted to trade with him, until one raid went horribly wrong. "What's this?" he roared. "It's worthless." Rowan tried to barter, but no one would make a deal. Barbarians didn't read books. Rowan took the book home. What am I supposed to do with this useless thing? Kindling? Origami? Then a picture caught his eye. Rowan read the first sentence, then a paragraph, then a page. Before he knew it, he had devoured an entire chapter. He read until the moon was high in the sky. The next day, Rowan didn't meet the raiding party. "He must have overslept," said Crom. "Let's go wake him." "Rowan, what are you doing?" said Gunner. "I'm reading," Rowan said. "This book is epic. Do you want to borrow it?" "Have you gone berserk? Barbarians don't read. We raid," said Helgi. His friends were right. Rowan tucked the book away and went trading, like a good barbarian. But he couldn't stop thinking about the book. When the raid was over, he charged home and read straight through the end. Rowan was hooked. He needed a new book. So he invaded, raided, and read. He invaded, raided, and read. He invaded, raided, and read. The fierce raider became a fierce reader, and soon his massive collection threatened to devour him. So Rowan came up with a solution to tame the beast. He built a library. He even threw a grand opening celebration. But barbarians do not read books. Crom judged the book, bought books by the covers. Too sparkly, too wimpy. Gunner valued brawn over brains. Reading doesn't have a point. Spears have points. Helgi was too busy to read. How could Rowan get his people to see that books were treasures? "I must conquer my own village," he declared. He picked up a book, held it high, and began to read aloud. The troll roared as Odin snatched up the urn of Ungar and raced into the ship. The crew rowed out to sea, went out of the depths to roast the terrifying kraken. Odin held onto the urn for dear life as he drew his sword. The shipbuilders continued sawing, the blacksmiths didn't stop hammering, and the potters kept on spinning their wheels. It was a crushing defeat. At daybreak, Rome went to his library. Appin invaded and raided. What was in the urn? Did he clobber the kraken? What did Odin do next? It was his greatest victory yet. The library was full of barbarians. Rowan quickly laid down the law. He used library cards, he recommended books, and he read to the younglings. Turns out, barbarians do read books. Rowan was a mighty librarian, the leader of his people. They invaded, they raided, they read. Welcome to our Wednesday's edition of Get the Dirt. Do you remember last week in our Digging Deeper segment when I explained what it means to get the dirt? That's right. Those are idioms, acronyms, and a play on words. We are using to help us remember to enjoy discovering interesting reading trails. When you get the dirt on something, it normally means you want to find out something negative about someone or something. But the English language is full of rich words with more than one meaning. When we get the dirt, we are using it to mean digging deeper into a topic of interest. And then, of course, the library is a great place to get the dirt. It's filled end to end with information. This summer, we've gotten the dirt on a plethora of topics. We've dug deeper into pets and how to choose one. We've dug deeper into dirt diggers and how they are made of many simple machines, specifically levers. We've dug deeper into gardening and pollinators. This week we're going to get the dirt about one of my first occupational choices when I was young. It's connected to last week's episode on bookbinding and being a bookworm. It's a great occupation for someone who loves reading and wants to pass that love on to others. Those who do this job have been part of my $1 million education. Before I divulge what my first dream job was, I want to read a book to you about a fictional girl named Madeline Finn, who found her voice with a little extra help from a very special community worker. Madeline Finn and the Library Dog. It can be found in the Easy section under PAP for Pet. Well, I do not like to read. Not books, not magazines, not even the menu on the ice cream truck. And I especially do not like to read out loud. Keep trying, Madeline Finn, my teacher says. But sometimes I can't figure out the words. Sometimes the sentences get stuck in my mouth like peanut butter. Sometimes people giggle when I make a mistake. And I never get a star sticker from my teacher. Not even a smiley face. Instead, I get a heart that says, keep trying. I get a lot of keep trying stickers. Stars are for good readers. Stars are for understanding words and for saying them out loud. But I know what else they're for. Stars are for making wishes. So I made a wish for my very first star. I guess wishes take a while because I don't get my star on Monday or Tuesday. Keep trying, my teacher tells me on Wednesday. On Thursday, I say the frog's name wrong. It's Sam. I try to get away with Sam, but it doesn't work. Friday is no better. On Saturday, Mom takes me to the library. Hello, Madeline Finn, Miss Dimple says. She's our librarian. I don't like to read, I reminded her, in case she forgot. Well, I remember, she says, but today we have something special. Something you might enjoy. Madeline Finn, would you like to read to a dog? Miss Dimple leads me over to a big white dog. This is Bonnie. Why don't you pick up a book and read to her? She's a great listener. Bonnie is beautiful, like a big, snowy polar bear. Would you like to try? Mom asks. Yes, please, I say, but not very loud. First, I'm nervous. I get letters mixed up. The words don't sound right. Then I look at Bonnie. She looks red into my eyes. She doesn't giggle. I feel better. I try again. Halfway through, I get stuck on another word. Bonnie doesn't mind. She puts her big paws in my lap and lets me pet her until I figure it out. After that, Bonnie and I read together every Saturday. It's fun to read when you're not afraid of making mistakes. Bonnie teaches me that it's okay to go slow and keep trying, just like the sticker says. And I still don't have a star, but I can be patient like Bonnie. Soon, it's almost time to read in class again. But when I go to the library, Bonnie's not there. Neither is Miss Dimple. Would you like to wait for another dog? The other librarians ask. No, thank you, I say, as politely as I can. Don't worry, Mom tells me later. Bonnie was just busy today. What about school? I ask. You'll do fine, she says. Just pretend you're reading to Bonnie. On Monday morning, I am very nervous. Madeline Finn, would you like to read next? The teacher asks. Yes, please, I say, but still not very loud. My first sentence goes pretty well. Then I mess up one word. And then another. I hear someone giggle. But then I think about Bonnie. I take a deep breath and pretend she's right next to me. The next thing I know, I'm at the bottom of the page. I look at my teacher, and she has a big smile on her face. I did it. I got my star. On Saturday, we go to the library again. Miss Dimple is back. I got my star, I tell her. I want to give it to Bonnie. Well done, Madeline Finn, she says. I think Bonnie might have a surprise for you, too. Madeline Finn, would you like to read to Bonnie and puppies? Yes, please, I say, nice and loud. Well, this is a fictional book. I think the story might ring true for some of you. Being a bookworm doesn't come naturally to people. So have you ever figured out what today's Digging Deeper topic is? Have you figured out the first thing I wanted to be when I grew up? Yes, I wanted to be a librarian. Librarian? Really? I can hear that a lot of incredulous thoughts rolling through in your head. But yes, a librarian. You see, the librarian is the coolest person. They work all day, surrounded by grand adventures, mysteries, places. Yes, a librarian was what I wanted to be. But what does a librarian do all day? Well, contrary to what I thought a librarian does, far more than just read all day. There is so much that is done behind the scenes. Let's get the dirt in this book that shows a simplified day in the life of a librarian. A day in the life of a librarian. How do librarians start their days? Every day, librarians get the library ready for people to use. Kathy unpacks and checks in new books. She turns on computers. She puts return books on a cart. Kathy is ready to help people find information. That's 8 o'clock in the morning. At 9 o'clock in the morning, assistants help the librarians. They help people find and check out books. Assistants also put return books back on library shelves. Today, Kathy and her assistants make a display. They arrange books and objects on the same subject. This display teaches kids about life in different areas. At 10:30, people use the library to find many things. They can check out books, movies, and music to take home. Kathy helps a woman find a movie to watch. Other people come to do research. They find information in books and magazines. Some people use computers. Others study at the library. At 12 o'clock in the library, at 12 o'clock, librarians must like to help people. They teach people how to find information. Kathy helps a man find articles on the internet. Librarians also need good computer skills. Kathy uses a scanner and a computer to check out books. She uses a computer to keep track of library items. At 2:30, all library items have call numbers. Call numbers tell people where to find items. Kathy helps a girl find books. About cats, she types cat into the computer catalog. The call numbers of the cat books come up on the screen. The call numbers match the numbers on books. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, librarians buy new items for the library. Kathy looks through catalogs and finds books, movies, and CDs. She also looks for damaged items on the shelves that need to be replaced. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, librarians plan programs for people in the community. Librarians plan story hours, book clubs, and summer reading programs. Today, Kathy reads to children at story hour. At 5 in the afternoon, before she goes home, Kathy cleans her desk, puts away papers, she checks her email, turns off her computer. Today, Kathy helped many people find books and information. To the late 1800s, children were not allowed in public libraries. The first children's room in a public library opened in 1895 in Boston, Massachusetts. I know our librarians keep very busy cataloging and shelving books, answering questions on the phones, finding books ordered, writing grants, planning and implementing programs, purchasing books, and attending meetings to help their knowledge current. So how does a librarian know where to find all the books for people and know where they go on shelves? Let's get the dirt. The Dewey Decimal Classification System was created by Melville Dewey in 1876. Instead of doing all books alphabetical order, he arranged nonfiction books in order by categories. Hey, you can help me sort the books I was working on when you started watching. Now, most librarians would have many shelves called open stacks, or stacks for short, where you can have easy access to books you need. For our activity, we just have one shelf, but we'll organize by the Dewey Decimal System classification. I have a nice poem here that helps me remember what all the Dewey Decimal System help me remember the Dewey Decimal System. It's a tongue twister. The 000s is the place to look for encyclopedias, almanacs, geniuses, and coding books. Here's a genius of world records. So that would go on the 000s. The 100s books explain feelings happy and sad. Books on philosophy, psychology, and ethics to be had. The 200s have religious books to read, or myths and legends, if that's what you need. The 300s books tell our civil rights, as well as economics and community helpers. All right. The 398s have stories to thrill, from Cinderella to Picosville. On 400's shelf, languages abound, dictionaries and foreign languages can be found. The 500 shelf is the place to explore science, math, ecology, and more. The 600 books are your best bets for business, transportation, and caring for pets. The 700 shelf has books of all sorts, for drawing, music, and even for sports. The 800s is the place to be for jokes, riddles, and poetry. In the 900s, there's geography, people and places, and history. If the address says 9 to 2, or B, you have found a biography. So those were rhymes to help us remember where to put our books in the Dewey Decimal System. There, that should do for now. Let's get the dirt on libraries in this book, Bunny's Book Club, by Annie Selverstrom. Just to keep you in suspense a little bit longer, I'm going to show you what our library uses these for. These were paint stirrers, but they also help you remember where to put the book back after you have used it. So say I want to look at this book called Atlas of the Poles and Oceans. I'd take the paint stirrer, put it where that was. Hopefully it would stay there. And then after I'm done reading this book, I would put it exactly where the paint stirrer was to help our librarians so they don't have to keep on finding their books and putting them where they belong. Now, because I think I've held you in suspense long enough, here's this book. It's called Bunny's Book Club. We can tell this is a fictional book because, yes, animals do not read books. That's personification. Having an animal do something that normally a person does. Bunny loved books. He loved them ever since he first heard the lady with the red glasses reading outside the library. As he listened, Bunny imagined himself climbing mountains, captaining a ship, ruling a kingdom. But when summer ended, story time moved back inside. Bunny wasn't sure if animals were allowed in the library, but Bunny was sure he couldn't live without books. Night after night, he could hardly sleep for wishing he had to do something. So with a flashlight in his paws and hope in his heart, Bunny jumped out of bed and tiptoed through the dark. Bunny reached the library door. It was locked. So were the windows. Bunny tried digging, climbing, and yanking. Nothing worked. Until finally he noticed the book returned. The shiny handle was far above his head, but it was no match for a high-hopping bunny hungry for books. Bunny leapt. He clung to the bar. He flung himself over and wiggled his toe through the slot. He landed inside with a thud. Bunny's eyes sparkled at the sight of the shelves bursting with books. It was better than a field full of fresh, crunchy carrots. Bunny didn't know where to start. He took a deep breath. He smelled as if he were wrapped inside the pages of his favorite book. He followed his nose to the adventure section. There he found stories about swashbucklers, sharks, and superheroes. Bunny greedily grabbed them all. His whiskers twitching with excitement, he slipped his treasures through the book slot, one by one. Then, performing his best balancing act, Bunny wobbled home. He couldn't wait to dig in. Because this is a rhyming book, they could have changed dig in to begin. But it fits our theme of digging deeper. And so, Bunny returned to the library each night. He searched and sneaked, then scurried back to read. Soon, his home was more books than a burrow. Then one evening, a loud knock startled Bunny. He closed his book and opened the door. "Where have you been?" asked Porcupine. "Reading," said Bunny. "Why?" said Porcupine. Bunny's eyes popped open wide. "Why?" he sputtered. "Have you ever been to the library?" It was time for Bunny to let Porcupine in on his secret. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" said Porcupine. "Of Calm your quills, said Bunny. I'm too prickly. I'll never fit. Bunny pushed and shoved until pop went Porcupine. Bunny slipped in and flipped on his flashlight. Whoa, said Porcupine. I know, said Bunny. You think there's a story about balloons? I've always wondered about balloons. Most definitely, said Bunny. Sure enough, Porcupine found books on balloons, and on deserts and dunes and caterpillars and cocoons. When Bunny handed him one about hedgehogs, he hugged it. The two friends took turns cramming books out the slough. Their towers teetered so high they could barely carry them. Back at Bunny's, cozied with cups of tea and carrot muffins, together they read till sunrise. One night, Bear noticed the light on at Bunny's. At Bunny's, he opened the door and tripped over a stack of books. What's going on? Said Bear. Here, said Bunny, handing him a book. Bear made room and settled in to read. Soon more curious animals began visiting. Do you have any books on about outer space? Said Bird. What about volcanoes? Asked Mole. I think it's time for a field trip, said Bunny. One by one, the animals stuffed themselves inside the library. Bear caused a bit of delay. They scattered about, sniffing the stacks. Remember what we learned about stacks today? Pawing over pages, Squirrel gathered stories about the circus. Raccoon nabbed one about outlaws and bandits. Frog found a fairy tale. Can you guess what fairy tale Frog found? I'm guessing it's the one about a princess and her golden ball. No one heard the key in the front door. No one heard the clack-clack of clicking of footsteps. No one heard the light flip on. What do we have here? Said the librarian. The animals looked up in shock. Bunny gasped. Porcupine gasped. Bear groaned. Follow me, she said. The animals marched slowly behind her. We're done for, whispered Porcupine. All libraries have rules, said the library sternly. Bunny's whiskers trembled. Porcupine's back bristled. Bear eyed the door. The librarian leaned down. The first rule is, every book lover must have one of these, she said. She handed Bunny and his friends shiny, new library cards. Now you may borrow books, she said, smiling, as long as you return them, of course. Bunny couldn't believe his ears. They could keep coming to their library. He beamed at his fellow readers. He then pounced to the shelves. He picked the perfect book and proudly checked it out for the first official session of Bunny's Book Club. You, like Bunny, can get a library card from the library. Library cards are free and the first step in your $1 million education. Yes, you really can get your education through reading. Look around the stacks. Books on all topics, subjects, and interests. If your local library doesn't carry a particular book, order it through the library loan. Possibilities are endless. A college education or your future career awaits you when you walk through the library door. These books help you learn how to take college classes and things like that. Do you remember me mentioning at the beginning of this episode that I would be talking about one of our unsung heroes? The United States is full of unsung heroes. People who every day go out of their way to serve those around them. Many of them have title community helper. Can you think of some community helpers? Here are some clues. To protect and serve. Yes, our police officers. To support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Yes, our United States military. Neither snow nor rain, nor heat nor gloom of the night stays these couriers. The United States Postal Service. First, do not harm. Doctors make this pledge. Why is a librarian an unsung hero? Because they tirelessly work to ensure that you have access to the written word. Without that freedom, we won't have the knowledge to learn from our past, better ourselves, and pass it to the next generation. There are many great books written and yet to be written about amazing ways librarians ensure we have access to reading material. Did you know books have been delivered by boat, pack horse, trains, bookmobiles, and the United States Postal Service? The Library on the Roof is a true story about a librarian who rejuvenated her library and went to extreme measures to make sure children had access to good books. Librarian on the Roof. In Lockhart, Texas, stood an old library, the oldest in the whole state. 100 years ago, everyone in town visited Dr. Eugene Clark Library to check out good books and the latest news. Crowds came to hear bands play and school children sing in front of its giant stained glass windows. But over the years, the books grew old and dusty, and people found newer, flashier places to go. The library grew quiet. One day, creaky doors whooshed open. "Good morning!" Rosa out to Laurel. The new librarian arrived with a clatter of heels on the floor, and eyelashes as long as a bird's feathers. Her laugh rattled the stained glass windows. "Shh!" whispered a library worker. "Don't disturb the readers. Horse feathers! What readers?" Rosaletta did not whisper. The staff looked around, but couldn't find a reader anywhere. After Rosaletta arrived, the Eugene Clark began to change. New books and magazines arrived. She told funny stories that made the staff laugh. The library was no longer quiet. "Everyone should love coming to the library," said Rosaletta. "The rich, the poor, and the farmers. The townsfolk. We're here for grown-ups and for children. By the way, where are all the children?" No one knew. That year, Rosaletta planned a Christmas party for the whole town ever seen. She led the parade around the square. "What's on your hat?" a little girl asked. "My pet doves," Rosaletta said. "Come visit them at the library." But after the party, the children still didn't come. "The library's for grown-ups," they said. "The children need a place in the library just for them," Rosaletta told her staff. "We need more books. Picture books, mystery books, adventure books. We need tables just the right size, comfy chairs, colorful artwork, and computers. Lots of family around here can't afford computers." "Where will we get the money?" the others asked. "All right, letters and ask for donations," said Rosaletta. Rosaletta wrote plenty of letters to big businesses and important people, but no one sent any money. "We could have a bake sale," someone suggested. "We need $20,000, and we won't get it selling cookies," said Rosaletta. "We need the whole town involved. Here's my plan, but I'll need your help." Rosaletta packed essentials, which included a tent, a bullhorn, a laptop, and 2 cell phones, and a slingshot. On Monday morning, the staff stood outside around Rosaletta. "Be safe, Rosaletta." "We'll send you anything you need, they promised. When the people in the street heard where she was going, they had questions. How will she sleep? What will she eat? "What I want to know," exclaimed one little boy, "is how she going to go to the bathroom." Rosaletta turned to him without batting an eyelash. "Librarians are very resourceful people," she replied. Then Rosaletta stepped into the bucket of the electric company truck. Up, 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 50 feet up. She stepped out of the bucket and onto the roof. A city official came by, startled to find the town's librarian on the roof. He shouted, "Miss Laurel, we pay you to be inside the building, not on top of it. What are you doing?" She pulled out her bullhorn and addressed the gathering crowd. "I will stay on this roof until we have raised enough money for our children's section." News spread. After school, the children came to see Rosaletta perched there. "The other librarians never camped on the roof," they said. Rosaletta launched water balloons with her slingshot while the children danced and played all afternoon on the library steps. In the evening, she blew them kisses and disappeared inside her tent. When the staff returned Tuesday morning, Rosetta already sat outside working on reports. They put breakfast in a bucket and she pulled it up, 50 feet up. She ate blueberry muffins while the birds sang in the treetops below. The town official came by again. Rosetta, stop this nonsense right now. We are a respectable town. We simply cannot have librarians falling off the roof. Horse feather. Respectable towns have libraries filled with children. Rosetta didn't budge. The high school band played, and the cheerleaders cheered. Visitors and reporters arrived from everywhere to see Lockhart's daring librarian. The storekeepers and the hotel owners came to thank Rosetta for bringing them business. They all left donations. The school children sent a pickup truck overflowing with coins they had collected for the library. On Wednesday, an employee called Rosetta's cell phone. "We just got a check for $10,000. Won't you come down?" $10,000 is a lot of money, but it's not enough, said Rosetta. I never do anything halfway. On Thursday, the sky clouded over and rain began to fall. Rosetta grew cold and wet, but she still refused to leave the roof. On Friday, it poured down hard. The wind tugged the tent lines. The library staff started to worry. They sloshed out the door and stood in puddles up to their shins. Please come down, they begged. It's getting worse. Rosetta shook her head and crawled back inside her tent. Saturday afternoon, the sky turned green, and the wind shifted. The news stations warned of tornadoes. The whole town of Lockhart feared for their beloved librarian. All night long, great gusts blasted across the roof. Rosetta held onto the slippery rail with all her might. On Sunday morning, after the storm, everyone rushed outside. Rosetta, are you still up there? Of course, she said. The librarian always stays on top of things. You did it, someone yelled. We have over $39,000, all for the children's area of our library. The crowd cheered for Rosetta. Rosetta climbed into the electric company bucket. Her clothes dripped, her eyelashes drooped, but she smiled at all who greeted her on the way back down. You mean we did it? She said. The whole town together. Today, if you look through the front window of the Eugene Clark Library, you will see shelves stacked full of children's books and tablets and chairs just the right size. You will see artwork on the walls and a row of busy computers. Best of all, you will always find crowds of children who love to read and learn inside the walls of the oldest library in Texas. Here are some other books about amazing librarians. These books are all true. Here's one book. It's called Down Cutchin Creek. It's about librarians who would carry books to people on the back of horses. This book is called Write to Me. It's about a librarian exchanging letters with some children who were sent away to a Japanese internment camp. And there's this book called Planting Stories. It's about a librarian who wrote some books for her children, for the children's section of the library. And this one is also true. This one is about, well, you know what it's about. But all these books are true. Your librarians love to hear from you. They love to hear what books you enjoy, or maybe why you didn't, or why maybe you didn't enjoy. They love to find books for you and order ones your library may not yet have. If you happen to be driving along and see the bookmobile, stop in and say hi and check out a few books. They love visitors. Traveling across the country? Check out the libraries in the towns you visit. Librarians love to meet people from other parts of the country. And that library card you carry around, it can be registered at libraries across the country. Rainy day or blistering heat? Duck inside the library for a guaranteed book treat. Thanks for joining us for today's Get the Dirt on Librarians. Be sure to head over to your library to begin your library summer reading program. If your library isn't open, sign up online. There are great opportunities for those who get the dirt by digging deep.